All right, guys. This is the Sci-Fi Express Lane, and I'm your host, Jeff Carroll, science fiction writer extraordinaire, whatever adjective I want to use. Today I'm going to be giving you my reaction to, I guess, the first 5-6 episodes of the TV show Foundation, and really the whole story in the Foundation. I am thinking we're in a cool time where we have probably arguably one of the greatest science fiction stories written. The Dune on the big screen, and we have the Foundation running on TV at the same time. I critiqued Dune in a couple of videos ago, so I'm just going to offer a little commentary on the Foundation. Of course, it's not over yet, and these are stories that I've read, only descriptions of their books, and just familiar with the books, but like Dune, I didn't read the book, so just really going by the TV version and the film version. So for Foundation, I'm feeling that there's a question that's underlined that the writer is trying to put forth, or not even a question. I just think it's straight out hate. I think there's hate for the indigenous people that are called third world people, that we descendants of the indigenous people call first world people. And again, to me, I'm just a regular free-thinking African person that thinks correctly. To the rest of the world, I may be considered a Pan-Africanist, a Hotep, a Garveyite, pro-black, whatever you want to call me. I'll take all those titles. It is what it is. But I'm going to say, in Foundation, if you're not familiar with the story is about a mathematician who found a equation that calculates futuristic projections. Now, I have a friend that's an engineer, top engineer at one of the top colleges in the United States. He puts out books, and he calculates cities and future trends and all that good stuff. And I understand the school of thought. I understand the science of it. I understand that. However, in Foundation, not only does it say he found the mathematical equation to predict the future, he actually predicted the future that civilization would come to a implosion and destroy each other by war. Very similar to the predictions that people made probably at the time this book was written, that the atomic bomb would bring a nuclear holocaust on Earth. So Foundation, humans have populated different planets, and he predicts that these planets will destroy each other and civilization. And so to save human civilization, they're going to start a colony on a remote planet and not let anybody know where this planet is, and start humanity over again while they ride out the rest of the world, the planets killing each other off through war. So in the process of his revelation, the existing monarchy is trying to downplay people that believe him, and he's almost like Nostradamus, and trying to survive. Outside, they start to lose, the outside colonies start to lose faith in the monarchy, and they start to destroy and start the war, right? This is the war of prophecy. Now, it's not really prophecy. It's supposedly mathematical and scientific fact. So it's almost the opposite of Nostradamus, who was not using science to predict the future. This gentleman is using math and science. Now, here comes the hatred part. So this whole story supports science and math, right? Or math, science through math. So math becomes the hero. Similar to the world we live in now in the United States, because people are so anti-science that it's ridiculous when it comes to vaccines. Anyway, even when it comes to the flat earth, which led to the doggone vaccine pushback, that they are anti-science. That aside, the hero, or one of the heroes of the story, is a black girl that comes from a planet that is first world. And their planet is sinking and drowning by water. However, they have a devout position against science. Different from the monarchy, they kill people who even think of using math. How they ever survived and how they ever lived to hunt and to do other things is beyond me. All I know is currently they hate on science, or they hate on math. So anyway, the girl has to flee the planet because she becomes such a prophetic mathematician that she solves the mathematical equation that predicts the end of the human civilization. And the guy who created the mathematical equation, in his civilized world with classrooms and knowledge and respect of math, he hasn't been able to get any of his students to be able to do this. But this little black girl from a planet that is totally against math finds a way. That's beautiful. I love the little magic Negro. I'm not even upset by that. My problem is the hating on math, and the hating on non-math. So for me, I am working on a series or a story that sort of retaliates towards technology. And I am a lover of the first world people. I couldn't live in the first world, at least now I don't think I could, because I've been so corrupted by technology, I'm dependent on it. But I think it's amazing that people were able to live centuries along with nature and be fully entertained and not need a Michael Kors bag or Skechers sneakers or cars or machines to travel space. And they were that advanced that they could see and have relationships with interstellar entities and not need any of that. So I stick up for the first world people in ways that I think are important for us to do. So it's almost like I am purposeful with my support of the first world people and philosophy. So for me, this story is like totally opposite of that. And I wonder why. I don't think it's the first story that hates on it. I think the Western world hates on first world people for the simple fact they call them third world in the first place. We got so conditioned in this world that we look down on Native Indigenous Americans and Native cultures to places on Earth, and I think that is a flaw in our civilization. I'm still putting my thoughts together. I'm trying to figure out how to word all of this. And somebody made a comment that they like watching me work and sort these ideas out. I will say this as a footnote. When I'm on a panel, I will not try to say things that I can't really fully explain. I will also not, so I'll have all my thoughts worked out by the time on a panel. And even on these videos, I may say things that I can't fully, I may change my opinion on, right? And I feel like I reserve the right to even do all of that. So anyway, I think it's deliberate, the hatred on first world people, but very ignorant at the same time. I wonder, can a world live without math? And I think yes. I think math is simply counting and measuring in a certain way. And I give an example that I use. I learned to dance, but I did not learn through counting and measuring. I mimicked, and I almost like I was an apprentice, but I got it. You know, I watched and observed, and I got it. Whereas some other people, cultures, probably even Europeans who are the really heavily on counting and measuring, have to learn through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and spin and 2 and 3 and, you know, everything is counting and measuring. Africans created music, and they don't have musical language, right? There's no, you know, if you've ever learned anything about music, people can learn by ear, right? And they can't even write down their music, and they have to learn how to do it. And great composers, many of the great composers, never learned how to write music. They really learned how to play by ear, and then they would hire people to transcribe what they played. And merely transcribing it is writing it down in the form of counting and measuring it. But they themselves never counted and measured it in the way they created it, in their composition of it, or in how they learned to play music. So I still question the need to count and measure, which is essentially what math is. Like, for instance, I wonder how a society can live without math, and they hunt. Simply knowing where to throw or shoot your arrow to kill a deer takes math somewhat, because you got to know where they're running and know where they're going to be able to get your arrow there in time to catch the deer in the head with the arrow. Or fishing, or taking care of your infant child when they get sick. How much of this was needed? What exactly do they need? I think there's a science and a math to it, but it may not be organized in the way that we call it math now, so it might not even be math. And then what we would have to do is call what that is that's not math something else. And that something else is probably what civilizations like the Dogon used to communicate to the stars in ways people with counting and measuring math haven't been able to. So again, it's interesting, and it goes back to flat earthers. It goes back to just other ways of knowing things other than science, and not hating on it. And my last point is, it's almost like a babar. Foundation is almost like a babar of science fiction, where you have this girl so anti her people, and she's probably going to go back. This is a prediction. She's probably going to go back to her people and hate them, you know, because she's learned other people's ways. So this is really like a disrespectful review of Foundation. But there's something related to Foundation in with what I said. When the series is over, I'll give you more of a spoiler review because I'm going to watch the rest of it now, which I was from the beginning, but because it's so important to the American science fiction community that I need to study it. That said, that's it. I'll talk to you later. Peace.